Hey, good morning, Eastern Oregon. Welcome to this May 22nd version of AM Live on EOA, your connection to Eastern Oregon. All of our content can be found at EOA.network. That takes you to a link tree where you can find our Facebook and YouTube and Roku channel, website, and also the podcasts where these AM shows end up being. So thanks for being here. Here in a bit, we are going to have Sajjan, who is the new executive director of the Union County Chamber of Commerce. He's a longtime friend of mine, and be good to have him with us this morning. So, hey, how are you, man?
Morning. Morning.
Doing all right?
Yeah, it's first Friday.
Yeah.
Of course. Yeah.
Yeah, a beautiful day yesterday, man.
Yeah, it was not too hot. I mean, I like it hot, but those days like that where it's just like that nice, like 65 to 70 and sunny is hard to beat.
I yesterday was like perfect as far as, I mean, if you want to get warm, you can get in the sun. If you want to cool down a little bit, you can stay in the shade,
Best weather too, like for like after the rain.
Yeah, right.
To get them mushrooms popping.
Have you heard? Are they out yet?
I saw somebody posted yesterday at like 3,500 up Mount Emily.
Elevation, yeah.
They were. They ran into a bunch of them, so
wow.
We'll see. I mean, normally we're getting close to the end of the season.
Right.
I mean, but it's with the way weather's been, I really don't know. I mean, I told you like a couple of weeks ago I went, Sumter and tried a bunch of different elevations and found nothing.
Yeah, I mean, because of weather change, climate change, I mean, it seems like everything is delayed at least a couple of weeks.
Yeah.
Whatever that might be.
Including my brain.
Well, yeah. But those things, we've talked about that before, hunting and rutting season, all of that is still the same, and so then you get into the fall, you have hunters that are hunting with less snow because...
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
It's just... They might end up having to move stuff around eventually. I mean, it just doesn't make sense.
Yeah, I mean, I would think so too. But I guess what they kind of base the beginning of the hunting season on is rutting, the rutting season.
Yeah.
And that's not changing.
Yeah, but if the animals aren't there,
right.
You know what I mean? Like, what's the point?
Yeah. Well, that's a whole nother discussion. I don't think that there's not a lot of concern for the hunters. And they're the ones that are paying the bills for game and fish.
Yeah.
But that's a whole nother conversation.
Yeah.
I mean, that's a declining customer model that
that's a political thing. That's all that has to do with. That's politics.
No, but I'm just saying if you had it doesn't matter.
Yeah.
Oh, hey, do sports.
Let's do it.
All right.
AM Sports Report brought to you by Oxark. Oxark provides industrial and medical gases, chemicals, welding and safety supplies, hydraulic hoses, and rigging supplies. They have 21 locations in Oregon, Idaho, and Washington. Give them a call at 541-963-2890 or visit them at 10001 May Lane in LeGrand. Oxark, your single source supplier. LHS softball finished their regular season with a home win over Weston McEwen on Tuesday, 8-4. Weston McEwen was the number one team in 2A. LeGrand currently sits as the number 2 ranked team in 4A, and they will host a first-round playoff game on the 27th against the team to be determined. I would imagine that it'll be at 4 o'clock, even though it says to be determined on the website. I would say probably 4 o'clock. That's usually when they play those games. I think the team that is traveling gets to pick the time. So we'll know as soon as the playing games are done and we figure out who we're playing. As for LHS baseball, they finish off their season today at 3 o'clock down at Optimist. They play Mac High in a non-GOL matchup, and I believe they have a league playoff game, like play-in, I guess I should say, between now and the 27th, because they're sitting at 13th in the state. The top 16 teams get in, but the way it works is if you don't win your league or get second, I believe you have to play somebody in your league for a play-in game. Anyways, they have a play-in game between now and the 27th, which will ultimately decide where they'll have to go on the 27th if they win. EOU Track and Field kicks off day 2 of the NAIA National Championships in Marion, Indiana. Big day, 18 Mountie representatives, and hopefully we can bring back some All-Americans. The Western Region Coach of the Year, Ben Welch, again. I couldn't even tell you how many times he's won that award, and that's not just the conference; that's the whole region. He's trying to. This Mountie men's team is in the top 10, and his goal is for them to make a podium finish. So it should be an exciting day for them. I should have the Isaiah Jones interview out tomorrow. Isaiah is a 2-time Oregon 4A Player of the Year in basketball, 2-time state champ at Baker, and he recently committed to play basketball for Coach Kemp right up here at EOU. I also got down and took some pics at a local Little League game the other day. That was so fun. They're hosting the District 3 All-Star Tournament June 23rd through the 30th. That means 600 extra people in town for that week. So they're looking for businesses to partner with and to get sponsorships, and they need to feed umpires. There's all kinds of ways that you can help as a business, and it's great exposure for you. You can message me or EOA Live right here for more details, and I'll put you in contact with the person that's in charge of that. Finally, EOU softball. Oh, it's a huge day for my ladies today, man. This is huge. The NAIA World Series kicks off today with the Mounties taking on Reinhardt at 1 p.m. I have a link already posted on my story, but I'll get a link up on the Facebook page on where to watch them as soon as the show's over today. If they win today against Reinhardt, who's a 5 seed coming in, they're the 10 seed overall. They seed them based on every round. Reinhardt is the first 5 seed to ever win the opening round. 5 teams go to each opening round site, and Reinhardt was the 5 seed. And if EOU wins that game today, they take on their nemesis tomorrow, who knocked them out in the opening round last year, Georgia Gwinnett. So this is a huge game. Southern plays Marion right before EOU today. So the other CCC team that's in the tournament, they play back-to-back today. So it's just, I'm going to be watching softball all day. I'll put up a link, like I said, after the show, but you can also Google NAIA Softball Championship 25, and it'll take you right to where you need to go to watch it. I'm feeling good about this tournament for the Mounties. Senior Kylie Parsons will be in the circle today, and I kind of feel like she's going to throw this Mountie team on her back and possibly take a ride to a national championship. Coach Christian's in her 6th year as head coach, and every year that she's been here, her winning percentage has gone up. This is just exciting. I've known Coach Christian for a long time, and this is one of my favorite sports. So for them to be doing so well, I mean, it's awesome. AM Sports Report brought to you by Oxark and LeGrand, your single source supplier. I said replier.
All right. Hey, thank you. So as I mentioned the other day, our sponsor for our weather segment is CHD, and their support for vulnerable adults. Are you prepared for that today, Bennett, and the slideshow? Okay. All right. So let's take a look outside. Look at our weather today. It's pretty. I don't know what it's supposed to be like.
It looks kind of overcast.
Yeah, it does.
A little bit.
Let's look at that weather graphic, Bennett.
Oh, I can't see that.
Yeah, we're missing our big monitor. 62.
Get on the screen.
62 today. 62 this morning. So, excuse me. The high today is supposed to be 62.
No, it looks like it's going to warm up. And on Saturday or Sunday, it's going to be mid-80s.
Yeah. Yep. Good.
Wow.
All righty. Well, glad you guys are here this morning. We'll be right back with Sajan, who is the new Union County Chamber of Commerce Executive Director. We'll be right back. All right, we're back with Sajan, and I'm sorry, tell me your last name.
Chahan.
Chahan. So yeah, I just always knew you as Sajan.
Yep. That's the first name.
But did they call you Saj? Was your nickname?
Yeah, Saj, Sergeant.
Kind of
Yeah.
sounds like
Yards.
Sergeant.
Yeah.
Yeah. So you are the same age as my son Brady.
Yes.
You guys are now 33-ish?
32. I think Brady's 33.
Yeah.
We're about that age.
Yeah. Actually, he's 33 because he's the leap day kid, and so we call it 8.25. He just had his.
That's right. Leap year. So
Yes.
he's only 8. Yeah.
Yes, yeah.
Exciting times. Well, he doesn't have to deal with white hair then. I've had 2 white hairs show up on my beard, and I plucked them out.
Only 2?
Only 2 so far. Well, they're not there anymore.
There's
Well,
a
yeah.
lot more coming.
That's
bro.
what I've heard.
Trust me on that.
Yeah. So you get used to taking a Sharpie and But your grays would like show up.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah. Have that natural complexion.
Yeah. Well, hey, thanks for being here.
Thanks for having me.
Yeah, glad that you're here, and congratulations on the new role. Yeah.
Thank you.
How long have you been in place now?
This is my 5th week.
Oh wow.
So still pretty new, but getting to lay the land.
Yeah. Are you liking it? What do you think so far?
Oh yeah, it's great. Working remote, I worked remote for 4 years, and so it's nice to be out there again, seeing people in person and having a little bit of interpersonal communication.
Yeah.
Something all people need, I think. So
Yeah. Well, talk to us about, you grew up here.
I did.
Your parents owned,
The Quail Run Motor Inn.
Yeah.
A long time ago.
Yeah.
Yeah.
and I know. So talk to us about
Yeah,
how did you
sure.
get here and growing up in Eastern Oregon, and your parents are Indian, right?
Yes, we're from Punjab.
Okay. Yeah.
I was
so,
the first one of my family born here,
well,
so I could run for president one day. Make sure to vote.
good. You have a legitimate birth certificate.
I do, yeah. Yeah, I went to high school here. I went to college here. My son's 13 years old, and he lives here as well. And yeah, I have a lot of stories growing up here, being a kid.
Yeah.
But yeah, Eastern Oregon has always been a home for me. And every time I go back somewhere else, I feel sort of empty when I don't see the mountains
Right.
at the edge, when I'm
Yeah.
not surrounded by trees.
Yeah.
And there's something about this place that you can't find anywhere else. So you try your best, but you always come back.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So how did your parents get to Eastern Oregon initially when you were young?
They bought a hotel here.
Okay.
Yeah, and so that was the initial thing. Small business owner, and so I am in a unique position having parents that grew up owning a small business in town, and I see the legitimacy and the importance of having, mom and pop shops, but not just mom and pop, larger businesses that are not so international, but located here in Oregon, here
Yeah.
in Eastern Oregon.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, cool. And so when did you graduate from high school? 2010?
2010.
Yeah.
Yeah, good times. No white hairs then.
That's right. And so that was, and that where I intersected with you back then was those were the beginning Xbox days, and Yeah.
Yeah, I think
talk
you're-
about that a little bit.
No,
You're-
beginning Xbox days were way before that.
Well, that was the beginning Xbox days.
For you?
No, that, right, before 2010.
Yeah.
But where I intersected with him was at the beginning Xbox days.
Yeah, yeah.
Okay, yeah.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
I think your son and I and some friends, we used to have LAN parties
Right.
at your place.
I didn't know that's what they called them. Yeah.
Yeah, I think that's what they call them.
Yeah.
I might be getting too old to remember.
No, I mean,
but-
that might be what they call them.
Yeah,
I just did,
yeah.
But I mean, you all would haul in your gaming systems with a TV.
With a TV.
And you'd
yeah.
all be in separate rooms.
Yep, so we can play multiplayer Halo.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's
And-
what it was.
Yeah, and in fact, there wasn't, I mean, we had a separate intercom system that was so then you guys could talk to each other. 'Cause there wasn't the headset communication back then that there is now just built
No,
into the
yeah.
gaming.
Technology has changed dramatically in the
Yeah.
past 15 years.
Yeah.
Strange to think about, but
Yeah.
that's what happens.
Now, do you guys still game? Are you still a part of that crew that plays every once in a while?
Yeah, I mean, every once in a while.
Yeah.
Not as often. We're too busy working nowadays, so we'd like to find the time, but
Yeah.
there's only so much time in the day.
But it is amazing that gaming culture, I mean, because it started with your age group when you guys were young, I mean, there's a lot of young men.
Yeah, who still game.
Yeah.
Yeah, there's
Yeah.
no shame in it. As
No.
a matter of fact, now my son, he plays video games too, and I think it's what I've told him before. It's like, as long as it's not taken away from the other things,
Yeah.
still go outside, still have fun. It's like watching a movie. You spend
Right.
2.5 hours watching a movie, 1.5 hours watching a movie.
Yeah.
It's the same thing to play video games. At least it's a little more interactive. So,
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, and I mean, Kyle games, I mean, it also is it's a connection that, Kyle has had with his kids, his
Yep.
younger son.
Yeah,
Yeah.
they don't. My son doesn't
Yeah.
live here, so
Yeah.
like it's a great opportunity to talk. He won't
Mm-hmm.
talk, but if I get him gaming, then he'll talk.
Right. Yeah. It's a
it's
good
like,
way.
it's like a phone conversation, but there's
Yeah.
something else. Like I don't know if it's that kids nowadays need two things going on or what, but something.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, for me, it uses, I mean, when I game, I don't do it well, and it's using like 95% of my brain just to look and move in two different directions. But yeah,
I'm
fine.
trying to figure out why you guys were having the LAN parties in 2010 because I was playing online.
I know you're connected to
in
20, but that's your
Yeah.
error. See, I say that he graduated in 2010.
Oh, okay. So you were like, because
Yeah.
in 04 I was playing online with the headset and everything.
Right. Yeah.
Xbox. I mean, Call of Duty 3.
Yeah. I think part of it, and I forget, this was a long time ago, but it was because we didn't want to share the same screen, and so
Screen sharing and Halo.
yeah, and so, but
yeah.
we also wanted to be in the same area, and
Right.
Hanging out,
because that's
yeah.
part of it was
Yeah.
That
getting
makes sense,
the
yeah,
monster
yeah.
drinks and the pizza, and the conversation all in between.
And my era was Nintendo and Jolt Cola.
Yeah.
But you couldn't LAN a Nintendo.
No.
Everybody just sat around and, yeah.
Yeah. Well, hey, so I tell you what, in 2018 we did
An interview.
Brent Clapp Media Services did
Yep.
we did a series of videos in conjunction. I mean, Chamber of Commerce was our client. You guys hired us to do that, and then we Bob Kavanaugh was the chamber director at that time, and so then there was a competition with Travel Oregon to enter those videos into Travel Oregon. I don't know if it was a competition. Anyhow, the two of us, the Chamber of Commerce and Brent Clapp Productions, won Best Campaign
That's right.
from the union or from Travel Oregon, which is a big deal. I mean, I didn't realize until I went with Will Bowman, who was the producer of those films, and we went together to that, and Bob Kavanaugh. We went to that banquet to receive that award, and that's a big deal. I mean,
It is.
Yeah,
That's
and
something else. That's a milestone.
yeah, we were super proud of that. And so I'm going to show. So I'm tooting both of our horns a little bit. Let's show you this quick video. It's 1 minute and 40 seconds. You'll. All right. And I was just telling Sajjan that Bob Kavanaugh, he really was the driving force to make that happen. You know, part of when he came to the Chamber of Commerce, you know, before that point, almost everything the chamber did was in print, and we know where print has gone over the years, and so he was the driving force that said, hey, we need to do a video and do a social media campaign with that, and that was early on, before anybody was doing that kind of stuff. Now you see it everywhere. You know,
Yeah,
I mean,
now it's standard practice.
yeah. Anytime you're on social media anywhere, you're seeing, you know, we see videos or see promotions for other travel areas. So
Yeah, that's the new channel. Just like when the radio was invented.
Right.
Now we have social media.
Yeah.
And yeah, it's one of the best ways you can reach your audience.
yeah, it's funny to me that it took I mean, I've kind of been a preacher of social media for, I don't know, 5 years, maybe longer, because I could see that was, because it was a way of penetrating the market in a manner that nobody else was doing. You
Yeah.
know, I mean, and even still, you know, reaching somebody on their phone, they have the ability to respond right then and there, get more information or sign up or buy a ticket or, you know,
Right.
any other thing you're like, I'm having to remember or I'm having to scan a QR code or which, you know, I mean, so those things are easier to do, but still there's nothing like reaching somebody on their own personal device.
Yeah, it's something else. I think in the world that we live in too, it's really consumed by lots of different data, and having that available to you to create audiences and really target people.
Right.
So that way you're getting the most return on investment when it comes to your ad spend. You know, in the past, it wasn't that we didn't have that opportunity
Right.
to really target into audiences. You would have specific magazines or specific content, but you didn't have the exact locations or the area. You didn't have their preferences. You didn't have their age, their demographics. And now you have all that information all readily available. And, you know, when you sign that consent form, you are signing away a lot of that information.
Right.
And so,
Right.
you know what, there is something to be said about privacy, and there is something to be said about making sure that we're ethically using this information. Something I've talked to my sister about, and she was like, well, I don't mind getting targeted ads because then I don't have to search for things and I get these ideas, and, you know, at the same time, it does feel like an invasion of privacy. And so we want to make sure that, you know, in this new world of social media, we have to make sure that we're leveraging the data to make insightful decisions and not unethical.
Yeah. Well, and that, I mean, the data conversation is just like a whole nother, you know, I mean, you, in the good hands, when goodwill is involved, then at least it's not twisted and used against you, you know.
Yeah.
But I mean, it's just like the DNA, 21andMe, is that 23andMe? Who is that company that's going out of business?
Yeah, and they sold all their data
Yeah,
to a third
you know,
party. Yeah.
and you know, and in DNA, you're not just it's not just your information; it's your entire family line that somehow is becoming available to somebody else. You know.
Yeah. Yeah.
And
Scary times. I think it's important that we have legislation passed.
Yeah.
That makes it more prominent. Like these concepts are slow to market when it comes to government, but I feel like we'll get there.
Yeah. Well, and it's, I mean, some of those things are, you know, I mean, there was I mean, that really came to light in a murder case from the 70s that was recently solved. And some guy in California who is elderly now, they traced his DNA through a family member and, you know, convicted him of murder, which is cool in that case. But
Right.
but on the same hand, you think about, well, you know, eventually that health information. I mean, you could get a bill from your insurance agency like, hey, yeah, we checked out your DNA and you are a higher risk of cancer, so
We're denying your coverage.
yeah,
Whatever the case may be.
yeah. So
Or
that's
we're increasing your
yeah,
premiums.
which, you know, you follow that business sense, but that's a weird twist on how data. But anyhow, sorry.
Yeah, sidetracked.
Yeah, but no. So, but super interesting. So
Yeah, I think the point I was trying to make is the opportunity to use social media to engage
Yeah.
our audience. and make Eastern Oregon and make LeGrand, Union County, more of an area people want to visit
Yeah.
and live, is something that I'm excited to make happen.
So now that you kind of have on your Chamber of Commerce glasses, you've
Sure.
been at it for five weeks. Why are we unique? Why is Eastern Oregon? Why is Union County unique?
Yeah, like I said before, it's something about living here that you can't find anywhere else.
Right.
I think we are in a unique position to grow. Our population's been stagnant these past few years, but compared
Past 70 years.
yeah, yeah. But compared to other cities, we are doing well. When I was at our destination boot camp earlier, I was speaking to other representatives from Travel Oregon and Travel Pendleton and the other counties in our area, and I think we have an opportunity to grow based on the difference between our population and others. And so, yeah, I'm hoping that we can continue to be a gateway to a lot of outdoor activities. I'm hoping that we can drive more people not just to stay in LeGrand to go visit Mira or Anthony Lakes or Joseph, but also to visit things here in LeGrand.
Yeah.
I think there's an opportunity to grow and leveraging what already is existing, because we've had some great directors in the past and we've had some great leadership in regards to making LeGrand what it is today, but also having new ideas. We're in a new generation. I feel like there's a lot of opportunity for growth, and we're not quite sure where that goes yet, but I feel like in more of a digital age, we have an opportunity to collect more data in regards to where people are going, where they're spending their money, and why they're spending their money, so we can look at that and leverage it as a collective to increase the amount of people that not just visit but stay.
Yeah. Is there anything that you can see that you would like to emphasize that maybe isn't, I mean, of the parts of the job you see what's been happening, is there anything that has jumped out to you that you want to do more of?
Yeah, we're doing a little bit of it already, but I really want to push into social media marketing and break into that, and leverage that more than we are.
Yeah.
There's a lot of opportunity for growth, and I feel like we have a great team at the Chamber right now that's already doing that, and so we're just going to keep on that process, but also elevate it more. Like you said earlier, print media is fading away, but sometimes I feel like there's a conspiracy that people keep walking into the Chamber office looking for print media to find things, and I feel like they're just like, oh, we need to convince Sajin that print media is not dead, and they just keep showing up. Phone calls are like, hey, I want to get mail, I want brochures, I want information, and so there is a balance to be struck.
Right.
And I feel like, yeah, we're getting there, and it's a process, and we're excited to see where that goes.
Well, and I see that in many of the corporations that we help and serve in some manner. They see, I mean, a few years ago we did I did a internal survey with a campaign that I was doing, and I've learned that, that social media advertising, paid social media advertising, was twice as effective as radio at half the cost. And which I knew, but that was really confirming for me. But on the same hand, people can't abandon some of those traditional, you can't abandon print media, and so it's, in some ways it's made it more complicated, because you really need more advertising dollars. It's not that you can just take and shift them from this to this,
Right.
because you still have people that they want to hold something in their hand. I printed out a 15-page email last night because, I'm not going to look at that online. I got to hold that and look through it and skim it and so on and so forth. And, so yeah, there's still people that want to hold it.
Yep.
They want to look at it. They want those pictures, and that's expensive. It just is.
It is, yeah.
Yeah.
But it's worth it, and I feel like we are part of the messaging is to appeal to all generations.
Yeah.
And so it's a mixed bag on what people like, but opportunity for growth.
Yeah. I'm on the social media front. I'm amazed at, and again, I see this with the people that we help. They will have, even people with in-house production people that are producing high quality media and they're putting on their social media. They're missing the step of actually paying to have it penetrated.
Right.
And which that's always an error. I mean, it's just because, Facebook a few years ago changed their algorithm to where it's like, it used to be that, hey, if you had a popular post or you had a lot of likes, then that would automatically get you into people's, and
feed,
Facebook figured out, it's like, nah, we want you to pay us in order to do that, And so there's certainly a combination. But, I mean, I see it all the time where people, they'll have really nice stuff for their company or their corporation, but it's really not penetrating outside of their own feed because they're just simply not paying to do it. So
Yeah, that's half the battle. It's
Yeah.
not just producing good content, but making sure that people are seeing it.
yeah, yep. And whether we like it or not, that means giving money to Meta in some manner. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, it's a business. That's
Yeah.
what it'll always be. Yeah.
Well, so I don't know. Tell us a little bit about you. You have you said a 13-year-old son?
Yeah, he's finally old enough where he can fit all the same clothes that I'm wearing.
Oh wow.
So now he's doing what I did when I was younger and taking my dad's clothing. And being like, this is nice.
Yeah.
I'll go ahead and keep this now.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's a great kid. He's in the scouting program. I'm an assistant scoutmaster. And so, yeah, we get to go out and explore. And I feel like that gives me a unique perspective to Eastern Oregon. All these things I keep going to. And just seeing the beauty and the wealth of nature here,
Yeah.
and the opportunity. People when they leave the bigger cities to move to smaller communities, there is a pay difference in income, but that could be quantified, and like the return that you're getting is found in our backyard.
Right.
And that's something that, like I said, you don't find in many other places. We have a ski lodge that's a Black Diamond that's just 45 minutes away.
Yeah.
30 minutes if you're driving fast.
Right.
We have, Jubilee Lake. We have Joseph. We have Morgan Lake. We have Mira. All of that's right in our backyard. And, I used to commute to work 45 minutes a day. So that was, that was normal for me.
Right.
Now, you could commute 15 minutes and get to where you want to be,
Right.
Whether that be a lake or whether that be your restaurant of choice or whether
Right.
that be a ski resort.
Yeah.
And that opportunity to leverage that content and material on social media and getting people to drive over here for that experience, and not just Eastern Oregon, drive past Pendleton, but to LeGrand,
Yeah.
to Union, to Cove, to Elgin, to Embler, all the places that have opportunity for outdoor recreation. And a lot of people are already leveraging this content. It's already there. We're known for this.
Right.
And so getting it to the right audience is something I'm excited to do. And having that opportunity to be in the scouting program and seeing all these small details,
Right.
and learning more about, outdoor recreation and more than I, have done in the past,
Yeah.
is something that, excites me. And it's a little bit of who I am and a little bit of who my kid is.
Yeah. Good. You came, the way I knew that you were executive director, you came in and we knew each other, but you
Yeah.
said, "Hey, I'm the new executive director."
Yep.
Yeah. Have you had the opportunity to do that with businesses much here?
Yes, although I am working on getting out to the other cities.
Right. Yeah.
Still,
Because this is Union County Chamber of Commerce.
Correct.
Right?
Yeah. And so we are a few different cities in the area, and not just Union County. I think it's important that we partner with our surrounding areas.
Right.
Eastern Oregon needs to be a destination people are willing to go to, from Boise, from Portland, from Tri-Cities, and
Yeah.
to get that, we need to work as a collective unit.
Yeah.
And while we'll have our own specialties, I feel like what I've heard and what I know about this region is that, we're a hub, we're a gateway, we're a stepping stone to other places. And not to say that there is nothing to do in LeGrand,
Right.
but there is a lot already of existing traffic that goes through LeGrand And realistically, my understanding is that, a lot of our, hotels, they support people when they're traveling through. And so, one of my goals is to make it so that we're, not just a gateway to other places, but we're also a destination.
Right.
And being a steward to making sure that when people visit, they want to spend more money here, and they want to visit our arts and culture. They want to visit our backyards, like in Morgan Lake, or the Elgin Museum. All of these unique opportunities of engagement and tourism value.
Yeah.
I feel like is something that we could promote more often, so that we can be more of a destination.
Now, destination that's a really hot word in the circles that you now have jumped into.
Right.
But most people don't even think about LeGrand or Union County as being a destination. I mean, and that's part of the mindset change that has to happen over time. It took me if you've been here for any length of time, then you just take for granted the mountains and the lakes and Mira, and you don't understand,
The
but
beauty.
you're right, yeah. And so I don't know. Help us understand what it means to be a destination. I mean, I know that seems really simple, but yeah, but put the dots really close together for us.
So we want, when people come here, when people travel here, we want to make sure that they're comfortable. We want to make sure that we have accessibility for them. We want to make sure that nowadays when they Google things, when they are asking AI, what is there to do, that we're available online, and that our content is out there being distributed, so that when people are planning their trip, that they're able to comfortably navigate our websites, our social media accounts, our community's websites and social media accounts, our businesses. The Chamber is here to support businesses grow. And a part of that is making your content available online, so that way when these new generations, like mine, are looking stuff up online before they go, that they're able to find those things. And that's part of being a destination nowadays, is to make content that is engaging, and that way people are driven to those areas based on the content that they see online. It excites people nowadays to scroll through their phones. But getting them off their phone and getting them to a destination is part of the build, the bridge that I'm trying to build here. And I think that is one of the ways that we can make this area more of a destination.
Yeah. And, cultural things have changed. I mean, I'm still in that era of like, if we're going to go visit some places, like I want to call a friend who has been there before and ask them what to do, where, people younger than I, probably Kyle's 10 years younger than I, and no, you're more than that, 18 years younger than I am.
Come on, man.
Yeah. Then you, they start here.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah, they start on their phones.
Yeah. And it's just it's really easy. It's just as I am good at marketing to people my own age, and everybody does that because that's the age, that's who it is that they can relate to, and so it takes a little bit of a stretch, a mental exercise to go, well, I'm not the primary audience. How do we reach other people that are different than I?
Right.
And your son,
he's a new generation.
Yeah. So how do you see? Are you in that place yet where it's like, oh man, he ingests media in a different way than what I did?
Yeah, I'm not sure. He's such a great kid. He's not on any social media platforms, and he doesn't scroll through.
Right, but
he's
talking about the generation.
The generation.
But that in and of
different.
itself
Yeah.
is different. Yeah,
Yeah.
and so is there a thing out there where companies like Chamber of Commerce were preparing to move, and there's a whole nother generation that's coming up that they're going to get information in a different manner, So anyhow, those are just some things that I struggle with and wrestle with all the time.
No, and I think that's that balance I was speaking of earlier, is making sure that with what we have, with what levers we can pull.
Yeah.
That we're doing it efficiently,
Yeah.
and we're doing it in a way that we could optimize for long-term use. I want to create a long-term strategy for
Yeah.
Union County that will exist.
Yeah.
And I feel like there's been already so much great work done.
Yeah.
And so leveraging what already's been done, plus, like I said, the new social media and content distribution channels that we have is going to be a great step forward and something that we'll be able to build on.
Yeah. So I was on the Chamber of Commerce board for 2 or 3 years, I believe, and one of the things that I figured out along the way is just the structure. I mean, the board really is your boss. The
Yep.
board president is your direct boss, and so even though you're the executive director, there's a fairly significant accountability structure above you. And are you okay with that? I mean, did you know that coming in, or you've kind of figured that out along the way?
Yeah, I mean, I knew that coming in. I think it's great because we have such a great team of resources available. And people want Union County to work.
Right.
They want more people visiting. They want more people living here. They want more people working here.
Yeah.
There's not one person I feel like that doesn't want that.
Yeah.
Anyone that owns a business, and a lot of the board members own businesses. A lot of our board members are part of businesses here in
Right.
town.
Yeah.
They have experience, and I've been able to leverage their knowledge, and they've been more than willing to help. And it's an amazing thing to see that they're just volunteers, and yet they bring so much to the table that when I worked in the private sector would be extremely expensive to resource these people and their expertise. Just to get them all in the
Right.
same room
Right.
would cost tens of thousands, right?
Right.
For 2 hours.
Yeah.
Across a quarter. Once a month, whatever the case may be, that's expensive stuff that they're leveraging because they love Union County as much as we all do.
Yeah.
They want to see it thrive.
Yeah. And commerce, that's business. That is tourism, people might not understand that tourism, you get funding to take care of the tourism part of it also. So our local Union County Chamber of Commerce is supported by funds from 2 or 3 different buckets,
Yep.
but the Chamber of Commerce part of it is, you're caring about business people. You're caring about getting people in their front doors, and it was fun. I was on the board when we were just coming out of COVID, and businesses were navigating and finding ways. We were in COVID, and so businesses were finding ways of being open. They had the shields up, and they had the, and our our Chamber of Commerce was still wrestling with that, and is it safe to do this, and how do we do this safely? And my point as a board member is hey, it's Chamber of Commerce. We can't have people walking by open businesses and getting to the chamber and having them be closed because it's in the name, And so that was just a defining moment for me to it's about business. So helping people find their way.
Yeah, and Union County has a lot of small businesses.
Yeah,
I feel like there is,
right.
and there is room for growth. There's
Right.
always going to be more room for growth, and being able to support local businesses is something that I'm proud to say that I have the opportunity to do.
Yeah.
And I hope that I can bring all these businesses the help they need as their chamber representative.
Yeah.
And I'm excited to leverage the skills that I have worked on in the past 8-9 years in marketing, but also community relations and community engagement and interpersonal communication to help engage our leaders, our business leaders, our civic leaders, to come together and make Union County a little better than it was last year.
Good. Tell me about your marketing experience. I don't know about that. Yeah.
Yeah, I've worked for a lot of different marketing agencies in the past, and I was actually a marketing specialist at Avanti Destinations before COVID, and obviously, a travel company did not do so well after that, and so I had an opportunities to work remote for 2 different marketing agencies, and leveraged my skills with larger corporations, and got a chance to be, a smaller cog in a bigger system, but working with, industry leaders that I would never have been able to contract on my own with just my name, but working with these larger brands, I was able to do that and, increase the amount of tools in my toolbox, so to speak. And I'm the type of person that is always going to be doing that. I think there is a growth mindset that I have that continues to enable me to learn more. And we're living in a very exciting time when it comes to new emerging technologies. We've been living in an exciting time for new emerging technologies, but having someone like me that, is excited to learn about those opportunities and what new systems we can use to optimize our content, but not just optimize our content, but increase the amount of revenue. That most important KPI. Let's bring more money into this town. Yeah.
Good. I would say that, your staff, the staff that you have, the staff that you've inherited, they're good people, and one of the things that I can say without a doubt is that the Chamber of Commerce calendar is where, that has been maintained consistently. If somebody wants to know, and I sit on a number of boards, and, there are times that you're planning an event, 6 months down the road or a year down the road, and, if somebody's going to look at a calendar and wonder, well, I wonder what's going on that weekend a year from now, or 6 months from now.
Right.
The Chamber of Commerce calendar is probably the best that there is,
Yeah, and I think there's been a lot of different ways people are collecting information on what's going on in town. One of the main reasons why, when I was growing up, I never thought, I'm going to be an executive director for a Chamber of Commerce.
Right. Yeah.
But the meaning of a Chamber of Commerce and the services it provides has changed of late. When in the past, when you wanted to find a business, in the past before, 30 years ago, you would reach out to the chamber. You would ask to say, hey, what are our local services that we provide here? What's the best one? What could I do to get in contact with these people? But now people search things up online. And I think we have an opportunity to grow that calendar, to grow that brand as the chamber with an online presence. Yeah. To continue that relationship that we have with our community, to be a source of information. Yeah. Driving home this idea that when you visit Union County, check out our website. Right. Go to visitunioncounty.org. Yeah. See what events we have playing there. See what things that we could do there. And expanding our social media reach. We have a foothold in the community. This is the Chamber's job, is to make sure that we are representing our businesses. Right. And leveraging all emerging technologies to make it possible to reach the grandest and largest audience that is going to give us the most engagement. When you think about that main KPI I was talking about, which is the revenue, right? The heads on beds. All right. And the food, the tickets, the gas, all the small things that are the reason why a chamber exists. Is right. We want to increase the amount of money our businesses are making. That's the bottom of the funnel. Right. At the top of it is, engagement. Yeah. Is outreach. Is getting people to see your content, like your content, engage with your content. That way, these algorithms can push it further to a larger audience, and that way people can slowly trickle down this funnel and eventually land here in La Grande, spending more money. And whether that be they're spending money here and then going somewhere else, or whether that be they're spending money here and staying. My goal is to make it so that they want to stay and they're here for a weekend, a week, a 4-day weekend excursion, and they have different destinations they can go to, different places they can see. Yeah.
And I mean, you're in a kind of a unique place to talk about hotels because you grew up in one here in LeGrand, you know, and I mean, and before, I mean, the Hampton, is it the Hampton? The Hampton being here is, I mean, that has been a problem for LeGrand for a while, you know, and I mean, how do you, because people, anyhow, I don't know, give me your sense on that. Is that, talk about that. Do you think, is that going to get better with the Hampton being here? Or do we need more? Yeah.
That's a great question. This is my 5th week on the job.
Yeah,
so,
right. Yeah.
I think the more businesses that we have here, the better. I
Right.
think there's opportunity for growth, and
Right.
having the supply there available
Yeah.
to match the demand when it does grow. And
Right.
and it is, I would when we compare ourselves to other counties and cities in Oregon, there is a difference. And so while that is stagnant at this time, comparative to what happened to other counties during COVID, that's that success that I was speaking of earlier that I'm hoping to maintain and grow.
Yeah.
Despite what seems to be a stagnant line of population growth, it's better off than other counties.
Yeah.
And so, you know, a part of the reason why I think that's the case is because people that live in LeGrand, they want to stay in LeGrand.
Right.
Because it's so beautiful, because of the, you know, the 15-minute backyard adventures that you could go to.
Right.
Yeah.
Well, and I think that in my opinion, all of the pieces are in place for a reason for people to move to LeGrand and stay. We have a university here. We have a good hospital system. There's manufacturing. There's a lot of, you know, all of those things could be improved or enhanced or whatever. But when you compare that like to Baker City or, you know, I mean, you don't have to look very far to go like, we have major pieces that are available to us that are not available to some of our neighbors.
Correct.
And so then, you know, but then to think beyond that as like, so I mean, so leveraging those pieces to get people to move here are in place. Now, getting what you just mentioned, getting people to spend the night here in LeGrand, choosing it as a destination, and then going out to there, that's a different challenge. Mm-hmm. You know, but from the economical heads-on bed, I mean, certainly Hot Lake has become, I didn't mention them, but they have become a significant picture of this, you know, that. So anyhow, I mean, that's a big challenge, and it's a multi-year, you mentioned strategy, which is like
5-10 years, where are we going to be?
Right, and I don't know that that's ever happened. I mean, maybe it's happened with the chamber, but I mean, if somebody doesn't do that, then it's never going to happen. You know, if somebody doesn't take the time to like get people at the table together and say, okay, where do we want to be 10 years from now? You know, 5 years from now. I mean, that just takes leadership. It takes somebody who's willing to force people to be at the table and don't let them leave until they decide, you know.
Yeah, and that's the chamber's job. That's
right.
Part of my job is to make it, is to have that vision and have the time available to make it so. You know, a lot of people are focusing on their businesses, and that's how it should be. And that's why the chamber exists, so we can have that longer term vision for our arts and culture, our outdoor rec, all these things that we could use to, you know, stimulate the economy and grow. And, you know, being the DMO, the Destination Marketing Organization of Union County, the chamber has a unique opportunity to not only support businesses, but, you know, pave the way.
Yeah. Well, awesome. Sajjan, thank you. Thanks for being here and taking the time. I know that you've been busy the last few days, but really appreciate you carving it out to be here this morning, man.
Thanks for having me.
Yeah. You want to get us out of here?
Let's do it.
All right.
On this day, May 22nd, 1761, the first life insurance policy in North America is issued in Philadelphia, Pennsylvania. 1803, on this day, the first public library opens in Connecticut. 1849, May 22nd, Abraham Lincoln receives a patent. He is the only U.S. president to ever do so. It's a device that lifts a boat over shoals and obstacles. It's weird, huh?
Yeah.
I wonder what it was, like some kind of hoist, I'm sure.
Some kind of a
Yeah.
crane thing or something.
1933, on this day, the first modern sighting of the Loch Ness Monster by Aldi and John McKay, who claimed to see something resembling a whale. 2003, on this day, Annika Sorenstam becomes the first woman to play in a PGA Tour event in 58 years in Fort Worth, Texas. 2018, on this day, Stacey Abrams is the first black woman to be nominated for governor in a U.S. state. And then in 2018, on this day as well, the New York Stock Exchange announces Stacey Cunningham will be its first woman head in its 226-year history. On this day, the #1 movie in America, Rambo: First Blood 2. This is the highest debut for a movie since 1985. It broke Beverly Hills Cop's record at the time for the highest weekend debut for an R-rated film. And it was also TriStar Pictures' first film to gross over $10 million in a weekend. Wow. And let's go with the Sly Stallone quote for the day, since we're talking Rambo. It ain't about how hard you hit, it's about how hard you can get hit and keep moving forward. How much you can take and keep moving forward. That's how winning is done. One more time. It ain't about how hard you hit, it's about how hard you can get hit and keep moving forward. How much you can take and keep moving forward. That's how winning is done.
Yeah. It's kind of like that Tyson quote. Everybody has a plan.
Until they get punched in the face.
That's right.
That's one of my favorite quotes.
I know. It's like, man, that sums up a lot.
Unfortunately, nowadays, that doesn't happen because there's so many repercussions to it. You know what I mean?
Well, yeah, but there's a lot of ways of getting punched in the face.
That's true.
Yeah.
That's true.
So,
Very true.
Yeah. Well, hey, thanks, man, for being here.
Yeah, thanks for having me.
Yeah.
Thanks for the show.
Yeah, I really appreciate it.
Thanks for being a part of Union County.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You bet. Thank you, guys. We'll see you Tuesday.